What's up, Beach City weirdos? Welcome to another episode of the Manos Collection. Now, I want to talk to you about comic books based on currently running TV shows, and they tend to have a handicap. What I'm talking about specifically is that they're often considered second-tier canon, which means that they have to reflect on changes and developments within the TV show Prime, but the TV show can completely ignore developments in the comic book or character development, which does tend to limit what the creators can do. There have been comic books, very successful ones in the past, based on then current running TV shows, like Batman the Animated Series, Star Trek, Buffy, X-Files, hell, even Bob's Burgers got a comic for a while. At best, they're harmless fun for a few minutes. At worst, they exist only to take our money. That brings us to Kaboom Studios and their run of Steven Universe comics. Kaboom has been publishing the adventures of the little guy and his space mom since 2014. The series has had a number of creators working on it over the years. The comics have done a pretty decent job opening up the world and giving us nice little character stories. Big standouts for me have been the Steven Universe and the Crystal Gems miniseries, Too Cool for School graphic novel, and a recent Lars of the Stars arc and the regular series, which I thought was really good. However, I want to talk about the story arc that I think is the best Steven Universe comic ever published, and that is Steven Universe Harmony. Originally published as a miniseries, Harmony is written by S.M. Vadari, illustrated by Molly Rose, and colored by Meg Casey. It takes place sometime in the early part of Season 5, which I think is a really great place to do a Steven Universe story, because that's where you have most of the lore that has been revealed, so you have a lot of room to work with. Issue 1 opens up on Homeworld, and there's a tight establishing shot of one of the cities instead of from space, because we haven't had a chance to see Homeworld as the time this was published. For those of you who don't know, Homeworld is kind of a shithole. Makes Cybertron look good. But, let's see, Topaz has been asked by Aquamarine to go get some data stones for some information about Earth. She knocks over a heart-shaped jewel, and it gets cracked when it hits the floor. She quickly puts it back and tries to cover it up. Unfortunately, what happened was that it was activated, and it connects with a heart-shaped stone on Earth. Meanwhile, Sadie, who is one of my favorite side characters in the show, she's having trouble getting herself out of bed. She's feeling depressed and unmotivated. Keep in mind, this takes place during Season 5, not 2020. So it's aged pretty well in the last year or two. Sadie is, like I said, is one of my favorite side characters. She and Lars has been working at the Big Donut and they've been in an off and on again relationship. They were created by Rebecca Sugar even before she created Steven Universe. She eventually, when she started developing the show, she put her OCs in the series. And what I really love about these characters is they really do feel, even in this show, authentic and real. In a show about like a magical kid and his lesbian space rock moms fighting monsters, they ground the show in some very serious emotions and situations. And always, every time, I just feel like I'm looking at real people in a weird story. Alright, enough about that. Anyway, she is feeling down about everything that's been changing around her. Lars is traveling through space. She's quit her job. Steven's adventures have been becoming more and more intense of late. The only thing that's kind of been keeping it together is her band, City Killer and the Suspects. Solid name, by the way. We cut over to the beach house where Garnet gets a flash from her future vision, warning her about the danger of the heart-shaped stone. And it's not a good vision. They're all destroyed by it. So she rallies the troops around. Only Steven's missing, so they have to go quickly interrupt the rehearsal that he is joining with City Killer. The cool kids decide maybe it's best to pack it up since Steven's not there too. So Sadie just goes back to bed in the afternoon, all depressed. In brighter news, the Crystal Gems head off over to a temple in order to prevent all life on Earth. They teleport to this ancient gem temple where they discovered the heart-shaped stone from the Vision, and it's unfortunately guarded by killer robots, and they're very, very protective of that. But fortunately, Garnet's future Vision is well equipped to handle the situation. Steven is able to bubble the stone, and that darn thing won't stay bubbled, so Steven has to keep the bubble intact so it doesn't break out. So the time passes, and it's time for Steven to show up and rehearse for Sadie, killer the suspects again, but the gem won't stay put without Steven holding it. So Peridot has to go fill in, and Peridot has no musical abilities whatsoever, so it's comically bad. The only thing she knows is you break musical instruments after the song's over, and Sadie's not rich, real wealthy rock stars like Eddie Van Halen and Rick Springfield. I don't know what you kids like. You kids are still into Rick Springfield, right? Yeah. Anyway, let's see. When Peridot goes home, she explains to Steven how she's bummed and there's really nothing to do. The stone goes off again, and it's filling this house with a bright yellow light, and once it shuts off again, Greg is lying on the floor in a coma with creepy yellow glowing eyes. And it's not the only spot this has happened. At Sadie's house, Sour Cream falls victim to the same effect. Now we jump to issue 2. That begins right where we left off, with Sour Cream waking up in some weird yellow-lit cave and runs into Greg and his mom, Vidalia. Okay, quick side note. The entire family of Sour Cream, they have an onion thing going on. I don't know. It's never been explained. I don't get it. It just is, so you move on. There's Vidalia, Onion, Sour Cream, and I don't know. That's how they roll. So, anyway, those knocked out by the coma by this gem have been brought physically to the hospital, where their consciousnesses are somewhere else. Garnet, Pearl, Peridot have all gone off to investigate, leaving Steven at home with Amethyst and Connie. Steven's still stressing out, but ultimately decides, hoping maybe taking a nap will, freshen his head. And Steven's one of those kids who can fall asleep during any situation. I don't know how he does it. That's when he wakes up in the stone, and he's greeted by Greg, Vidalia, and Sour Cream, and even Mayor Dewey's there. He tells them that they're doing everything in their power to, get them out of there and wake them up, and then he suddenly wakes up back in the beach house, informing the others that the minds of the falling humans are trapped inside the stone. So Garnet, Pearl, Peridot return to so they can compare notes with Steven. The gems discovered that the rock is called the Harmony Stone, and they're not sure what the purpose is yet. They decide to split up. Garnet, Pearl, and Peridot will go to where the original gem they found and maybe see if they can learn anything else about it, while Steven continues to hold the core in its bubble. What's Amethyst doing? Well, she has an important job. She has to go fill in for Steven with the band. So she goes and does that. Makes more sense, really, than Peridot, because Amethyst has actual musical talent. So we're at the temple, and Peridot concludes that the core was a prototype for colonizing. It's a device from before the Gem War, and and just before they're attacked again by the temple's security robots. Those robots are no match for Pearl and Garnet in their sardonyx form. So once they're done, they realize that the other robots have taken off. So what they do is they just grab the Harmony Core and get out of there. That's when Amethyst returns from band practice, and to her horror, she finds that the robots went and found Steven and have unbubbled the core. As Steven has been sleeping, Connie has already fallen victim to the core's power. Amethyst trashes the robots and is unsure how to break Steven's connection with the core. She decides to take a risky move by touching the core, which does not work in her favor. She instantly poops, and her gem falls to the ground, glowing yellow. As Garnet, Pearl, and Amethyst arrive, they discover that Steven has been lying beside Connie and Amethyst's gem. And that's how we end with issue 2. So now Amethyst and Connie are trapped in the Harmony Core with the others. Issue 3 begins with Steven very understandably upset that Connie is gone, and has discovered through his actions that the Harmony Cores are on Earth, and he has a connection to it. There's more throughout the galaxy, and this endangers more than just simply the people of Beach City. This could be a worldwide disaster, maybe an intergalactic disaster. So he decides to stop trying to communicate with it, because it might, cause the bubble to pop and, cause more minds to get sucked into it. He and Garnet take Connie to the hospital. Pearl and Peridot go online to see if this is happening anywhere else, and sure enough, the nearest gem temple that has some activity is around California. They decide to actually, interesting thing is, from I can tell from the map, is California has this island that seems to have broken off from California, so it's like kind of Manhattan on the west coast. Keep in mind, the geography of Earth in the Steven Universe series is different than our Earth, which makes it kind of fun. It gives it definitely more of a personality. So I'm getting off topic here. This is all cool until they go to go find the Harmony Stone in California, and they're attacked by the Core's robots. Of course, these things are constantly protected by these security robots. Pearl fights the robots. Peridot goes for the Harmony Core, and she's hit by a robot, causing her to pop the bubble and touch the core, and she is sucked in. So Pearl rebubbles and grabs Peridot's gem and is able to get back to the beach house. Pearl is unable to find Steven. She looks for him at his usual hangouts until she decides to swing by Sadie's house. I don't know why she didn't think to go there first. That's all Steven's been trying to do throughout the story. And he's not there. Sadie is practicing him with her band. I swear, when they go on, they're going to be the most well-prepared band in history, frankly, because that's all they do is practice. Anyway, Sadie lets Pearl know that Steven is at the hospital with Connie, and she can see that Pearl's upset by what's going on. She's not in a great state. Pearl tries to play it off, as always, but Buck Dewey decides to kind of give music a chance to kind of get her to open up. And that's when Pearl and Sadie go into this duet about how the people they're missing, and how their lives are trying to figure out what to do without them. This song helps Pearl realize how to control the Harmony Core. It explains and she goes to explain to Steven that the radio waves are simply another form of light, which is what the gem's bodies are made of. For those of you who don't know, they're basically light hologram constructs controlled by the stone. The gem's gem is actually who they are. So, let's see. She pops the bubble and touches the core and gets absorbed right into it, and that's where we leave off of issue 3, with her running over to Amethyst and Peridot and tell them, I got a plan. I need you to harmonize with me. Da-da-da-da. Okay, issue 4 starts off with, right out of the gate, with Pearl in the Harmony Core with Amethyst and Peridot. She quickly gets them on board with this plan. She tries she's going to try and kind of get this three-part melody together to harmonize. That way they'll be able to signal to Steven, and he's able to get to them on the inside. Peridot theorizes that there are like hundreds of harmony cores across the galaxy, but the real danger are the ones that are coming from Earth. The first thing they have to do is harmonize, telling the cores to free the minds of the absorbed humans, and boom, all of them wake up in the hospital. Greg and Connie are okay. The next thing they do on the list is to find the third harmony core on Earth, and that's Garnet's job. She travels to the South Pole to retrieve it, and she and Lion fight this badass final boss of a harmony core guardian robot thing. Steven works on a harmony to destroy all the cores throughout the galaxy so they won't hurt anybody else. The problem with the plan really is they don't have enough power, so oh crap, we're doomed. Oh, just kidding. Luckily, Sadie and her band have been rehearsing all this time, so they're all set. They set up their amps. Garnet brings back the third harmony core because she's the most dependable character ever. Everything looks great except for one thing, and someone needs to hang around inside the harmony core to keep them active until they're destroyed. There's no guarantee that that person will get out in time, so their survival is 50-50, and of course Pearl sticks around, ejecting Amethyst, Steven, and Peridot before they're even able to object to the plan, which is pretty much in Pearl's character. She always puts herself last above the others. So anyway, the end game begins. That's when Sadie and the suspects harmonize with Steven. Pearl redirects the signal. Everything's going great. Until the Core's protective robots protocol thingies jump in, and gee, these things have a really great security setup for like a prototype. They all kind of like Voltron together into one killer robot, and that's where we end off with the cliffhanger for issue 4. Issue 5, let's see, that Harmony Core mecha has come to fight them. Amethyst and Garnet instantly turn into Sugarlight for an epic battle for a couple of strong pages, but the Harmony mecha defeats Sugarlight with no problem. Garnet and Amethyst defuse as they hit the ground. Not really a good sign, frankly. It's not a good start to this battle. Just then, Steven remembers that, oh wait, this is Steven Universe, not Voltron. We don't need to defeat our enemies with giant robots, and we don't queer bait. You hear me, Voltron? Sorry, that's a different topic. Where was I? Garnet and Amethyst go to distract the Harmony Core robot as Steven and Sadie Killer and the suspects harmonize along with Pearl on the inside. The action not only destroys the robot, but also frees Pearl from the original Harmony Core. The day looks pretty much saved, with one problem left over, and that's the core from Homeworld begins to glow and fly away. It's going to head back to Homeworld, and Sadie instantly grabs hold of it, hoping to keep it from flying, and that was kind of a bad plan because it just takes her ass right up into the sky. Once it escapes Earth's atmosphere, she is pretty much dead meat, so she's thinking she's about to die, saying, I only wanted to help. I just wanted to stop being left behind. Now it doesn't matter. If you go by yourself, you're still just as alone if you stay behind. That's when a voice off panel reassures her you are not alone. And of course it's Steven, carried by Alexandrite, saving her and taking out the core at the same time. Final thoughts. Like I said at the opening of this video, in my opinion, this is the best Steven Universe comic ever published. While the TV series tends to mostly focus on its strengths, character, this comic focuses on merging a adventurous plot with engaging character moments. S.M. Vidari gives us a serious threat and defeats it in a way that fits in totally in tone with the TV series. The characters are all pitch perfect in the way they're portrayed here. The art from Molly Rose is gorgeous. It's not 100% on model, and that's actually a good thing, because it still gives us the feel, and it's very recognizable Steven Universe, at the same time giving us Rose's artistic take on these characters. The same can be said for Meg Casey's colors, which blend beautifully with Rose's art and completely fits in line with the tone and feel of the Steven Universe. Stevenverse? Why the hell haven't we been calling it the Stevenverse all this time? Okay, I do have some minor beefs. Very small. Number one, the format of the comic itself. The floppies and the trade are this square shape, making storage rather difficult. It almost caused me to skip the entire miniseries altogether. That was until I came across Meg Casey's table at Tidewater Comic-Con back in 2019. She was super nice and signed all 5 copies for me. If you're watching this, Meg, thank you very much. You were the best. Another minor issue is within the actual work. There's a lot of songs in this story, and they all work within the confines of the story and pay off in the exact way that they would in a regular episode of the series. But songs have always felt weird in comics, for me anyway, because you can't hear the music. Now, I know there's a lot of music-based comic books out there, like Josie and the Pussycats, Gem, Dazzler. So, I'll be honest, that's a personal taste issue for me. This is a fantastic comic with a story that could have been an arc for the TV series, or hell, it could have been the plot for the movie. I absolutely loved it, and I recommend it to any Steven Universe fan, new and old. It's available in the single issues and the trade paperback. Go find it. I loved it. 5 out of 5 RAM chips. Hey, come back next month. We're going to have another episode of the Manos collection where we're going to be talking about Daredevil, Fall from Grace.